Mahagut Ceann Alatoid Gníomhach Grover about Paddy Harte Far Loch Loider Navsplach a Bhí agus go háirithe hiag sé tácht gach tradiisiún in Ián seo. Agus tibrig sé go dtíon díhalach, dána agus dálach son muinte dún an gáil agus muinte na tíir seo ach go háirithe chun sicáin a chuir bhain in Ián. Paddy Harte has left a lasting mark on Irish politics, not only through his work as a TD representing the people of Donegal North East, but also as a builder of bridges. As Fine Gael spokesman in Northern Ireland, he was a politician who engaged meaningfully with all traditions and people from all backgrounds. In that respect, he was ahead of his time. He dedicated much of his life to public service, and he was a member of Dáil Éireann from 1961 until 1997, a span that encompassed the worst of the death and destruction in Northern Ireland. He was Minister of State in the 1981-82 government in the Department of Posts and Telegraphs. But he was not the sort of politician that felt that he needed ministerial status to make a contribution. Paddy made a huge contribution in his involvement, alongside the former UDA chief Glenn Barr, in promoting the recognition of Irish people who died during World War I, and it is for that, I think, that he will be best remembered. He did this long before it was popular, and for the courage he showed in that, he deserves our collective acclamation. He's resolved to progress this issue, not only recognise the sacrifice that Irish soldiers made in the Great War, it also led to the building of the Island of Ireland Peace Park and Round Tower in Belgium. The work saw him awarded numerous accolades, including an honorary OBE and an honorary Doctorate of Laws from the National University of Ireland, as well as being named European of the Year in 1998. While he was a stalwart and steadfast member of Fine Gael, he was very much his own man. And indeed, when violence broke out in Northern Ireland in 1969, he crossed the floor of the House and met the then Taoiseach Jack Lynch to give him his advice and ideas in terms of the unfolding crisis. And it was this type of approach that won Paddy so many admirers on all sides of the House. A proud Donegal man, an Ulster man and an Irishman. I again extend my condolences to Paddy's wife Rosaleen and his 9 children. Oireachtas go raibh ha'anam dílis. Ban agus palatóir fi le about Monica Barnes. Dinne le principal a bhí chun tosig mar le cearta sibhialta generalta ach go háirithe mar le cearta sibhialta na mná na tíre seo. Bhí sí tuiscinach, ceanúil agus gníomhach in annachcuid fachtais le glúinte anuas. Monica Barnes was a courageous and outspoken voice in Irish politics at a time when progressive voices were few and far between. And she was in many respects ahead of her time and always thought outside the box. She was a very proud feminist and admired by many. A co-founder of the Council for the Status of Women, now the National Women's Council in 1973, she was one of those alongside Mary Robinson, Gemma Hussey and Nuala Fennell, who were trailblazers for advancing women's rights in the 1970s. The Liberal leadership of Garda Fitzgerald attracted her to Fine Gael, and she was elected to Dáil Éireann in November 1982. The following year, she was one of 2 Fine Gael TDs to oppose the wording of the legislation and the insertion of the 8th Amendment. Monica agreed with the advice of the then Attorney General, the late Peter Sutherland. She was also a committed supporter of the 1986 referendum to remove the ban on divorce. While the causes dear to her heart did not have a lot of success in the 1980s, she was never disheartened, and she retained her open and optimistic outlook on life. And though she advocated with passion for her beliefs, she was never dismissive or intolerant of those with whom she disagreed. I echo the words of the Ceann Comhairle that she was most agreeable in disagreeing with people. She was approachable, she was a very warm person and had a great sense of humour. Fearless yet courteous, she made friends across the political spectrum, and the loss of her seat in '92 was greeted with disappointment by many outside of Fine Gael. She never held ministerial office, though had she been a TD in 1994 when the Rainbow government took office, I think it would have been hard to overlook her. She returned for a final term in Dunleary in 1997 before retiring in 2002. Sadly, she lost her son Paul to cancer the following year. She never lost her commitment to the causes she was passionate about and was all set to campaign to repeal the 8th earlier this year. It was not to be, however, and she passed away quietly and suddenly at home 3 weeks before referendum day. I have absolutely no doubt that she inspired many other women to enter political life. And this year we mark the centenary of women voting for the first time. In Monica Barnes, we can say that her life was a powerful example of what women can achieve in our national life. Monica's family's grief can be tempered with pride in her great achievements in public life. I offer my sincere sympathies and that of my party to her husband Bob and daughters Sarah and Joanne, and of course to her wider family, the Fine Gael party.
Deputy Mayor